A hero can be defined in many different ways. It may be someone who selflessly risks their lives to improve someone else's, or simply just someone you look up to. To me, a hero is someone who can overcome great obstacles and becomes an admired and inspirational individual. A substantial obstacle that one would have to overcome is the loss of hearing and seeing. Losing even just one of these senses would be devastating, and the thought of losing both would be unfathomable. For these reasons, I chose Helen Keller as my hero. Helen Keller had to overcome many obstacles in her life. She was born on June 27, 1880, in Alabama. At an early age, Helen showed no signs of being different. She was a lively and outgoing baby. However, at 19 months old, the unimaginable happened. Helen contracted an illness which the doctors diagnosed as an acute congestion of the stomach and brain. She recovered from the illness but was left both deaf and blind. Nevertheless, she eventually learned how to live in the strange new world. She made up hand signs to communicate with her family, and by the age of 7 had more than 60. Helen was later appointed a specialist named Anne Sullivan, who was visually impaired as well, to aid in Helen's journey. Reluctant at first, Helen had no interest in learning, but upon having the word water spelled out in one hand with a tap running on the other, Helen had a breakthrough. She was determined, and with that hope, she learned how to spell the names of many objects in her hand in only a month. She later learned Braille, how to write, and how to hear by reading the lips of others with her hand. Helen also discovered that if she placed her fingertips on a table, she could experience music that was close by. Helen spent years traveling to different schools, getting an education, and at the age of 24, Helen graduated, becoming the first deaf-blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. She became a very successful author, political activist, and lecturer. Her exceptional talent was recognized by Alexander Graham Bell and Mark Twain. Twain said, "The two most interesting characters of the 19th century are Napoleon and Helen Keller."
Perpetual beggars, they call themselves, in the cause of the handicapped. The newsreels of the world have come to know Helen.
Helen Keller, one of the world's truly great women, arrives at Kingsford Smith Airport, Sydney, to begin an Australian-wide lecture tour. Out of her own darkness, she has brought light and hope and courage to tens of thousands of afflicted people, stricken blind and with partial or aided hearing.
I know every step of the road you are taking. And I rejoice at your cheer and determination. Because the obstacles you meet are many. And when you go out to life's struggles and adventures, you will raise a banner for the dead who follow you.
Helen shows that you can do whatever you put your mind to. She knew life was going to be more challenging for her, but never let it get her down. Helen improved education for the blind, deaf, and mute, as well as speaking out about discrimination of the blind and the less fortunate. And she eventually founded the American Civil Liberties Union. Her lectures advocaately brought about public awareness for blindness and deafness. Through her actions, she improved the quality of life for individuals with disability, and it did not go unrecognized. In 1965, she received the most votes out of 100 powerful women and was put in the Women's Hall of Fame. In conclusion, Helen Keller was an astonishing woman whose heroic actions have stood the test of time. She achieved great feats personally and has for more than a century been a role model and advocate for others. The words she spoke have made me admire her and look at life from a different perspective. For instance, in this quote, The marvelous richness of human experience would lose something of rewarding joy if there were no limitations to overcome. The hilltop hour would not be half so wonderful if there were no dark valleys to traverse. She means that without the hard times, the good ones would not be as rewarding. We often make excuses for not making the most of our lives, yet Helen was both deaf and blind, and through perseverance she overcame her disabilities and helped to improve many lives. A disability can make daily life more challenging, but we must remember that all people, regardless of physical impairment, can be a major contributor to society. A lesson we can all learn from Helen Keller is that with hope, determination, and courage, all obstacles can be overcome.